That's all it is, man. It's human ego is so gross. And this brings me back to psychedelics. Because what do psychedelics do that's most important? Well, the dissolving of the ego. It's one of the most important aspects of it. It makes you realize the folly of your ways. You know, and all of these people that are supposed to be the academics, they're supposed to be the enlightened ones. They're not enlightened. They have information, and they hold that information like it's their identity. And they're right about a lot of things because they have been studying it, and they do deserve credit for that. What they've done is amazing, and the understanding that these academics, these archaeologists and historians can give us of our world and our history is really cool. It's really awesome, but there's a whole lot more out there. And for them to pretend and dismiss people they should embrace people like Graham Hancock, and then they should correct him when he's saying something that's wrong.
Yeah.
But instead of lying and then calling him a racist and saying all these terrible things about him, well, that just shows me that you don't really have an argument. And you're trying to protect your identity. Your identity is the gatekeeper of this information that is not yours to gatekeep. It's for the whole human race to understand what the hell happened.
Yeah. And I wish that, we've seen a surge in interest in ancient history and prehistory and, the story of our species through people like Graham Hancock, who have kind of created a massive interest in this subject. But instead of embracing that, they see it as a threat. And I think that's really sad, to be honest. And yeah, I think it kind of hurts the discipline in general, because if you kind of embrace that and brought him into the table and spoke to him and kind of agreed to have the discussion, then it would create a much kind of more healthy debate around these things. And when you talk about the Clovis kind of narrative, it because we think that we know what happened and thus we know what didn't happen, it means that people aren't even looking for stuff that now we know was there. So they didn't dig deeper than the Clovis layer until very recently, because they knew that humans weren't around until Clovis, but obviously that was wrong. So they could have missed so much stuff, and they probably did. I mean, have you seen that? There's to be fair, I think Graham mentioned it on the show, the Saruti Mastodon site, which is 130,000 years ago in America. I mean, if that's human, which it kind of looks like it is,
that's debatable, though, right? Isn't that debatable? Because the way the bones are broken, it could have been from some sort of an accident or an avalanche or something, right?
Yeah, it is debatable, but it could be human. It could easily be human, because it kind of looks like human markings on bones. I mean, so
it looks like scrapings, like they're scraping the marrow out of the bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or some kind of primitive.
But why couldn't it have been human? I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be Homo sapien, but why couldn't another human species have got to the Americas?
Well, it seems like they certainly could have if they were here 22,000 years ago. Why?
Exactly.
What was that timeline? Why'd they figure it out then?
Yeah.
And how'd they do it, right? That's the question. How'd they do it? And we know that people were seafaring from what was the earliest seafarers?
You could argue that Homo erectus seafared 800,000 years ago, which is just mental.
Could you really?
Well, they reached places that were isolated, and some people say, they kind of floated there accidentally. Which is possible, but it seems a bit weird that you'd then survive and colonize a place.
See, that's where it gets so squirrely. If Homo erectus made a boat, that's bananas.
I mean, Neanderthals were definitely making boats, and this points to how intelligent they were. They were making sophisticated boats and sailing across the Mediterranean and colonizing places like Crete well over 100,000 years ago.
Well, we know that the North Sentinel people, they arrived by boat from Africa 60,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And so at least then people were seafaring.
Oh, definitely.
And probably way earlier than that. So why would we assume they wouldn't get to the Americas? That seems crazy.
I mean, bigger journey, to be fair. But then I guess if you go across the top...
Which way you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. If you go across the top and kind of hop down along the coast, then not so hard.
Well, also, there's the problem. It's if you go back 12,000 years ago, Canada's covered in ice.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. It's literally all ice. So where are they coming from? Well, they have to be coming from the south.
I guess. I mean, there's the kind of theory regarding the Polynesian kind of island chain, hopping across to Easter Island and then making one last hop across to South America. Or
that's a crazy hop, though.
Going the other way. It is a crazy hop. But
people have always done crazy. Just the fact that they did it in the 1400s is bananas.
That's pretty crazy. And they did that with tech that was, no tech. They just did it with the stars.
Yeah.
And wood.
But then you get to how do you say that ancient Greek symbol, that ancient Greek mechanism that they found?
Oh, the Antikythera mechanism.
That's it. I never could say that. Antikythera. I'll try to remember.
You got it.
But I always forget it. But that thing is bananas. Like that, when they first found it, it just looked like a hunk of shit. Like, what is this? And then when they got a better understanding, I think it was like a long time after they discovered it, that they go, oh, wait a minute, these are gears. Like, what?
It's
the
like
hell
a
is
computer,
this?
basically.
2,000-year-old computer.
Yeah. At least, and also that's not the first one. Like, someone didn't just develop that and was like, here we go,
Right.
just fucking made a computer. Like, it was clearly like a long history of very, very technical stuff in ancient Greece, and it could well have been the ancient Greeks, but also it could have been like, well, what's the history of this technology? And
more technical than like this modern automatic watch.
Yeah.
Modern automatic watch, if you look at the inside of them, it's crazy. There's springs and gears, and it's all within, like this Seiko is like within, I think it's a couple seconds a day.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's all these little, and it moves, it has no power source other than the movement of your hand.
Yeah.
It's
And the
nuts. And it has a
Antikythera mechanism.
72-hour power reserve. So for 72 hours, if you let it sit there, just from the power of your hand from wearing it for a
Really?
few. Yeah.
That's a cool watch.
Nuts. Isn't that nuts? But
That's
that's
crazy.
normal. That's a normal thing for a modern watch with these little tiny gears. This thing's way crazier than that.
Yeah.
And it's 2,000 years old.
At least.
What do they think it was for?
I think they thought it kind of like tracked the lunar cycles and the kind of elliptical movements of. I'm not
Have you
really
seen
sure,
the 3D AI representation of what it looked like when
Yeah.
it was fully done? See if you can find that, because that's the most eye-opening of it. Because you're bringing this back to the time of Christ, and someone made a computer during the time of Christ. Like, okay, what are we missing? Like, Graham's quote is the best. I love this quote. We are a species with amnesia.
100%.
100%. Yeah. And there's other quote that I really love. Things just keep getting older.
And things do keep getting older.
They keep getting older. Yeah. And this is something that people resist for some strange reason. And I don't understand it. I think it's just because it's attached to these folks like Graham.
Yeah, that's the one.
Look at it. That's nuts. That's what it used to look like.
This is a modern reproduction of it.
Oh, right. But that is what it used to look like, right?
Based off of that. Pieces.
So,
crazy.
Show me the modern reproduction of what it looked like. Just imagine. Okay, someone 2,000 fucking years ago figured that out, and they have these little representations of the stars and the planets, of the sun, and then all the planets surrounded. Like, first of all, how do they know all that? How are they seeing these planets? Like, do they have a telescope? Like, how do they know how many planets are in our solar system? What did you base this on?
And no equivalent technology ever like re-emerged until like the 16th century with like Swiss clockmakers or something.
So it just makes you wonder, like, how old is that, and what's that from, and what were was there other stuff like this that we never find?
When I googled first seafarers,
yeah, I think that's
but I don't see the evidence that they have for 700,000 years ago.
I think that's the Homo erectus thing.
And they're crossing I googled it, crossing the Aegean Sea. It says they might have been doing, which there was some like islands that were protecting it from crazy weather, potentially made it easier.
But
I don't know what evidence.
that is a crazy thing to read. Some evidence suggests that man may have crossed the sea as early as 700,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Aren't you happy you were born today?
Yeah.
Imagine trying to gut it out,
Or like
tough it out,
take the
living
boys
back
and
then.
go and cross some fucking sea in a wooden raft.
Yeah, when you wind up eating your friend because there's no food left. Yeah, it's kind of amazing that we got as far as we did, but it's really amazing when they find things like that. It's the Antikythera mechanism. I said it right?
You did.
Nailed it. I'll try to remember. But just the fact that we found one of those, and it makes you wonder, like, what they have in Egypt? What did they have 2,000 years before that? What did we miss?
Digging into the stone stuff, we're talking about frequencies. I saw a video recently that doesn't explain all the Egypt stuff, but there were frequencies coming out of these rocks that I don't think everybody is currently like studying. People have studied it. That's very basic, but like there's the King's Chamber and the reverberations that happen. I was reading from Archimedes, I think, this quote here. When the priests sing the hymns of the gods, they sing the 7 vowels in due succession. The sound of these vowels has such euphony, I think that's that word, that men listen to it instead of the flute and the lyre, the lyre. It's from 2000 or 200 BC.
There's like so many ancient sites that are all built with kind of acoustic, like resonance in mind.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting into this. I was trying to find the proof of it. Someone made a video I saw recently where the somatic stuff shows up all over the place in some ancient sites, definitely obviously in churches and cathedrals.
Ooh.
But this is what happens when you like put sand on a plate and hum on it, or put a certain
vibrations,
frequency. And how you stumble across this, and it just so happens to be the same thing we're discovering now. Crazy.
What is that image of? What is that golden?
This?
Yeah, what's that?
It's a cathedral. I looked at it a second ago.
Is that in Canada?
No, the article is from Spain.
It's in Spain. Whoa. That is wild.
Okay. I was looking into the oldest doors people found. The oldest door is only like 5,000 BC. It was found in Switzerland somewhere.
Huh.
There's the oldest active doors in the UK. It's from 900 AD, I think.
What are those images of sacred geometry from? And that right there,
Yes.
Leonardo da Vinci's original drawing of the flower of life. What Da Vinci? What drugs are you taking, son? How is he seeing that? Yeah, well, that's ancient imagery, right? That's sacred geometry. Those depictions have been around forever.
He was a crazy dude, Da Vinci, well, in a good way.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Bizarrely smart.
Very smart.
It's weird when you have these outliers, these outliers that come out of nowhere, and like he had like a working model of a flying machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had like 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Crazy guy.
And he's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
It's kind of, these outliers that just, how many of them we never heard of? How many of them were from 30,000 years ago? How many, we have such a limited understanding of our history. And I always think, like, if something happened to us right now, what would really be left? The real problem is everything is either on paper, and there's not a lot of it on paper anymore. It's on hard drives. And those things would get cooked. If there was just a massive solar flare, something huge that took out our power grid and destroyed all of our cell phone towers and all our satellites, no more electricity.
And even if it didn't get cooked, what would you do with it in 100 or in 10,000 years?
Exactly.
If you found that, you wouldn't know what that was.
You wouldn't know what that was. You would have to devise a new version of Windows to read it. It would take so long, and it would probably have been corroded and wasted away.
It wouldn't be recognizable.
Long before that. Especially if something happened, it was underwater. Especially if the entire world's on fire because we got hit with a comet.
Yeah.
Like, there wouldn't be much left. And this is like a really shitty way to store information.
It does feel like a bit of a risk, doesn't it?
It's a giant risk.
Everything we've ever learned and discovered and thought about is.
Well, you know what happens when your phone dies and you don't have a backup phone? You're like, oh no, I don't know anyone's number.
And we do that with our entire civilization's knowledge.
Right. And so then you would have just stories and myths of what things used to be like. There was an all-female flight crew at Delta. You're like, what? What are you talking about? What does that even mean? They had satellites. What are you talking about? Like, what is the thing is, like, I wonder how many of the satellites would still be in orbit, or whether their orbit would deteriorate and they'd come crashing down to Earth.
I think they would decay like relatively quickly. I think. I mean, I'm not sure, but lots of them would. I think. And when we're talking big time scales.
Yeah, let's Google that. How many satellites that are in orbit today? See if put this into AI. How many satellites that are in orbit around the Earth today will be there in 100,000 years? Does Perplexity have an answer for that?
I think it's unlikely that anyone else was doing like space travel and stuff.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Certainly
maybe not
unlikely.
impossible, but I don't think there's anything on the moon, for example. I think we'd probably see that, but
Yeah, that's the weird one, right? There's bases on the dark side of the moon,
Yeah.
and they're watching us. Are you sure?
I don't think so.
You know. Well, then there's the weirdness of the moon itself. That it's the absolute perfect size and the perfect distance to completely block out the sun.
That is weird, isn't it?
Real
That is super weird.
It's real weird because it's not kind of right. It's perfect.
Precise, yeah.
It's very precise. So you would need the precise size and the precise distance.
That is weird.
And there's also the fact that it stabilizes our atmosphere. It stabilizes our environment.
Yeah, I guess the argument for that is we wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Right.
If it wasn't the exact right.
This is the best
Yeah.
answer I can say. You might have to read the whole thing, but there's thousands of satellites burning up each year in the atmosphere.
Oh, shit.
Is what I got to the end of.
Oh, so thousands of them crash down?
For sure. I mean, they.
So how long do they last?
That's the first. That's why I was trying to track that down. The first one only lasted 3 months.
So Sputnik 1, the Soviet Union, in 1957, 3 months later it fell out of orbit.
So it seems like they worked up to about a 25-year rule where they don't expect it to last that long.
Wow.
It's gonna crash down.
So in 25 years there's nothing left.
But I was trying to Google
Right.
how long would till the last one, if they stop putting them up, how long until the last one crashes down.
It seems like 25 years.
That's why I couldn't get a good answer that way.
Did you put it into AI?
I didn't because I don't want to. I don't like asking questions you don't know the answer to AI. I
That's
like asking questions I know the answer to.
Well, I just like to see how it thinks. I like to see if it's going to just bullshit you and lie to you or if it's going to...
That's why I want to know when it's bullshitting me.
Yeah.
I don't like knowing it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because you just have to trust it.
Well, it's also basing all its information on websites.
Yeah, and I don't know what year it was trained on. I was watching people talk about sports cards. They're like, it's not updated in the last 3 years, so you can't use this data. It's not good data.
Oh, really? Which one was that?
I don't know which one they were talking about. There's so many AI opportunities out there.
It's funny watching people on Twitter use Grok and try to get Grok to say things it doesn't want to say.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, there's an information blockade of what Grok is allowed to talk about.
The thing is, you can just you can kind of trick AI to say whatever you want it to say.
Yeah, I've
That's-
seen people do that, like trick it into saying, like, how would you make a bomb?
Yeah, and that's almost the
You
bad
can do
thing
it.
about it is it kind of becomes your own little echo chamber after a while if you want it to, if you can kind of convince it to.
Well, we've done a really terrible job of taking care of most people, and when then you give these people access to the kind of power that AI provides them, they're going to ask naughty questions.
Yeah,
Because
it's great fun though.
they're not living in harmony.
Yeah.
Because we're a selfish being. We're a selfish creature.
It's a crazy thing though, the kind of advent of large language models and
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. It's mad.
Well, it's also, we're in the middle of it. It's happening right now, which is real weird. So, like, in our lifetimes, we're potentially witnessing the biggest change to civilization since the pyramids.
Yeah. I mean, even in my lifetime, like I was born in '97, didn't really have. I had to dial up the internet. I remember when I was a kid, and then smartphones came along, and then obviously things like AI, and it is pretty ridiculous.
I was 27 years old before I ever got online.
Yeah.
That was when I first got a computer and I got on AOL. You've got mail. It's like, I've got mail? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And, and you could go to chat rooms and read about stuff, and you could download information. So I'd print stuff about UFOs and like, this is the future. I'm living in the future. And we're very fortunate, I think, that we got to see what life was like with a primitive use of the internet to what it's become now, to a quantum computer can go back a second in time to, what is coming next. We don't know. What's really weird is, imagine if this has been done before. We're assuming that it hasn't, but imagine if the Egyptians had figured out something similar. It kind of makes sense. I mean, it sounds preposterous that they did, but why? Why, if we can do it? Why, if we can do it, if maybe it's just a thing, if you leave humans undisturbed for a long enough amount of time with food, they start figuring stuff out. If you can keep them from killing each other, And maybe that's the beautiful thing about the way Egyptian technology had advanced. They didn't split the atom. Maybe they figured out something else, that they couldn't turn into a weapon.
Yeah. They were definitely doing some pretty mad stuff. And then if you look at those kind of granite boxes they made, the completely smooth surface, I mean, they clearly had some form of technology that we don't attribute to them. I think that's undisputed. I mean, it is disputed, but I don't see how you can logically kind of look at what they were doing and not think they had some kind of technology that, you know, we don't traditionally attribute them to. But whether that means they were like some crazy advanced civilization or it was built by some other advanced civilization, you know, that's, you know, a bit more hypothetical. But they were clearly doing stuff that we can't appreciate today. So that logically suggests they had, you know, something that we don't understand, right?
Right. And when you find
Antikythera
from 2,000 years ago, it makes you just really think, like, okay, what did they have?
Well, ancient Greece was very inspired by ancient Egypt, so I mean, it could have well come from there.
Exactly, yeah. And we, you know, we're just guessing. We're just lost in guessing.
That's the thing, it's all about interpretation, isn't it? All of history is about interpretation. It's not a hard science like, you know, physics. I mean, physics is kind of crazy too. It hurts my head, man. That's too much for me, all that quantum physics stuff. But have you ever heard of the Silurian hypothesis?
No.
That's,
maybe I have. What is it?
It's kind of linked to this. It's linked to this, you know, ancient civilization stuff. It's the idea that there could have been an advanced civilization on our planet, you know, 100 million years ago, a non-human one that, you know, was advanced and industrial, and we just wouldn't see any trace because of how long ago it was, and they could have been here, and, you know, we just wouldn't know because it's been so long. It's kind of like where I come from with my kind of human idea. Obviously, it's a further time span, but it was proposed by two physicists. Is why I just thought of it just then. It's a guy called Adam Frank and.
I've had Adam on before.
You've had him on?
Yeah.
Adam Frank. There you go. I mean, did he might have
We had
talked
him
about
on, Jamie, right? Didn't we?
You got too many
It's a
episodes.
problem. That happens all the time. We're like, yeah, we've had him on. I know we have.
Episode 1130.
I knew we have.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
I just wanted to check because I have been wrong before. Where we talked about a guy. I'm like, who's that guy? And then like I talked to him for 3 hours.
I thought you were wrong. I was like,
Okay, it's happened before. But so this idea is that something else other than human beings.
Well, it's just the idea that if it had, we wouldn't know. And because the Earth's been around for so long and complex multicellular life appeared, you know, relatively early in our, like, 4 billion year history of the Earth or whatever, I'm not sure on the dates, but we've been around, the Earth has been around for so long. And we know that intelligence can emerge because it emerged with us and happened relatively quickly when you look at the kind of massive timescale that the Earth's been around and how long multicellular life has been around. So their idea is kind of like, well, what if, you know, a civilization in the kind of era of the dinosaurs had, you know, become very advanced and an industrial society? And they say we would see absolutely no evidence. Like, when I'm talking about human civilization, we would see some potential evidence, like, you know, rock carved stone or whatever, but they would say you wouldn't even see the nuclear waste deposits because it's that long ago that nothing would survive. And then I think about that and I think, well, isn't it almost more likely that something did happen, considering we know that intelligence can emerge relatively quickly? Multicellular life has been on the planet for so long.
Limited understanding of the fossil record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why couldn't something have happened before? And then you start getting a bit, you know, stoner about it, and you start thinking, well, maybe they're still here because they.
That's what I like to do. I like to go interdimensional because I think, like, well, if you do have these quantum computers that can go back 1 second in time, and you move forward 1,000 years from now, and they're run by AI, like, what can they do? Like, what do they cease to? Do these beings cease to exist in this dimension? Do they develop the ability to be transdimensional? Do they no longer exist in our space and time? Is that like the emergence of this new life form and then they observe us? Is that what's going on?
Well, I feel like if you kind of survive, you know, a lot longer than we have, and you kind of get to a different, like, kind of level of intelligence, then why would you need the kind of physical body? Why would you need the physical realm? And why couldn't you kind of diverge different dimensions if such a thing is possible? Like,
we certainly can imagine it taking place somewhere else, on another planet with a similar atmosphere that supports life, and maybe they live in a solar system that doesn't have an asteroid belt.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's I'm sure they must exist, where they're not getting pelted all the time. We're just in a shitty neighborhood. we're basically in a neighborhood that gets shot up all the time.
A shooting gallery, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shooting gallery.
Yeah.
And imagine them achieving where we are at, but then plus a million years, and you can go, oh yeah, well, I guess all bets are off in terms of what's possible. We 100 years ago, people were freaking out if they saw a car. Now we're sending video from a tiny little screen on your phone
Across
to
the world.
Yeah, instantaneously. It's all nuts.
And we don't even blink at that.
We
You
don't
actually
even
get
blink.
pissed off if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You're like, well, fuck, can't I talk to this guy in Australia? And instantly, like, why's my phone not working?
And people are addicted to staring at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's pulling you into its gravity. It's all very, very weird stuff.
Yeah, we adjust very quickly to
Real quick.
how technology develops, and it's just getting faster and faster and faster.
Mhm.
It makes you think, where will we be in 100 years, in 500 years, if
Yeah.
nothing happens?
Yeah. Where will we be? I think we'll be somewhere really weird. But I'm hoping that as we do advance and wherever we're going to be, it'll help us understand where we came from. Like, like if AI and super intelligence starts examining the history of the human race, then things can get very interesting, and maybe it could give us places to look. Like, we need physical, human beings or drones on the ground excavating certain areas. This is like prime place to look.
Yeah, I kind of flip between like quite a pessimistic outlook and quite an optimistic outlook on these things. Like, sometimes I think like it's just gone and we're never going to know, and we can speculate for as much as we like, but it's gone. And then sometimes I think, no, like, you never know. There's so many places that are just completely unexcavated, completely unexplored, that we haven't looked at. Like, beneath the Sahara, on the ocean floor by these. Could I have some coffee, please?
Yes,
that'd be
sir.
all right. Thank you.
Of course.
And there are all these places that we haven't explored, and as you say, technology like AI.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Sometimes I think, yeah, maybe we are going to make like these massive discoveries that are going to completely shift our understanding of history. And as you say, the kind of Giza, the findings beneath Giza, that could be a moment. And I'm always looking for that. But then sometimes I flip again and think, maybe we'll never find anything. And I just don't know. Maybe I'm just speculating for no reason, and I should just stop.